Flosstube. Good morning, Flosstube. Bam here, stitching between the lines. Tuesday, June 26th, take 3. And this is supposed to be a quick, easy, simple little video. I don't know. It's not going well. Anyway, I got home from StitchCon on Sunday night. And so I just wanted to let you know my take on the experience. There's going to be lots of videos. There were videos, I'm sure, live videos when we were there and so on. But, you might not watch everybody. Everybody might not have the same take. I know there's huge interest in attending. Uh, Obviously, I attended and I wanted to attend. So there's interest in that. I don't necessarily like to watch retreat reviews of a retreat I didn't attend. But when I said that in my last video, lots of comments said, no, we want to hear about it. We want to know about it. We want to see about it. So anyway, here goes. I flew in. My son and I have a little thing going where we're trying to see how many states in the United States we can visit. Of course, he's 28 years younger than me. And I'm still ahead of him. But he doesn't stay home a whole lot either, so he's getting around. And interestingly enough, the Cincinnati airport's in Kentucky, and because of late afternoon traffic and whatnot, the route we took to get from the airport to the hotel where StitchCon was held took us through Indiana, Kentucky, Indiana. I was born in Ohio. I can't count that. Been there many, 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 many times. So. Anyway, I got 2 more states out of it, in case that matters. So as you probably know, keepsakes, stitching. I used to be stitching and framing. Sorry, I should know these things. Now they don't do the framing, so keepsakes is is a cross-stitch store on the outskirts of Cincinnati that hosted it, along with several floss tubers. Organized it, put it on in a hotel 5 miles maybe from the shop, and it's not going to be at the same hotel, so we don't even need to belabor the hotel details for next year. The intention is to double the size, which is large, to 300. I think 150 scared people. I didn't think 150 was overwhelming. Meals were not provided, so we didn't accept breakfast by the hotel. So I didn't feel like it was this huge mass of people always moving together to move to the meal at mealtime or anything like that. There were a couple restaurants you could get to walking, a Bob Evans, for example. And in my mind, I am thinking that restaurant is going to just be overwhelmed with people that have walked over there, but that was not the case, not at all. Somebody in our little group drove to a Cracker Barrel. You could have walked there, but it was across, like a 4-lane highway. And no, not. People scattered, I think, further. There were a lot of people with cars, and people did takeout or order in or whatever. I don't know. It was kind of nice, actually, to not have meals provided, because people have different eating styles. I went to let me just back up a tiny bit. When you're in such a big, huge group, it's a little bit overwhelming, I think, to think about going in there all by yourself. But I believe most people had welcoming experiences if they found a table that had an empty seat. May I sit here? People didn't. I don't think people took offense if after somebody sat at the table and they discovered there was a group or somebody they befriended somewhere else in the room that they moved. We went with a group of people that hoped to get a table together. So did any of it? I knew one other person that I invited to sit at a table that I was helping to organize with some other Flosstube ladies. And So I think we had 6 people to sit at this 8-person table, and another woman came and sat, Lee. She was a perfect fit. It was wonderful. We really had a nice time. And then a younger stitcher sat with us. Very, she eventually moved over to what we call the younger person, the young people's table. I don't know. So anyway, and we weren't offended, and we kept telling her we won't be offended, or come with us to dinner or whatever. She traveled with a family member, so she was sometimes went with that person. So anyway, I likened being part of a small group in a big group, like going to the movies with your family or a group of friends. You don't think of you and all the other movie participants as having to do things all together. Obviously, you're sitting down and watching the same movie, but you feel like you're watching the movie with your little group. And, in a case like this, especially Flosstubers, most people knew who some of the Flosstubers were. So you felt like there were familiar faces in the crowd. You could get up, move around, chat with them, visit with them, that kind of thing. So I don't want to be overwhelmed by a group of 300. I don't like a big, huge crowd. I don't like to go to a concert, for example, or a very crowded outdoor venue. That's just not something I really enjoy. But I'm not afraid to go to the mall at Christmas time, right? So does that make sense? Um, so anyway, I'm looking forward to next year, and I'm going to say I've been to a lot of retreats, small and big and medium, and I'm looking forward to going to this one again. I always go and I think, okay, I did that, I'm good, but I really am looking forward to doing this one again, which I think says something. I sat with Nicole, the Buckeye Stitcher, and Marlene, Stitching by the Lake, and Julie McConnell from Reflections, Framing and Stitching. I don't know. The names kind of escape me. A woman I met last at Minnesota, Penny. I invited her to make sure to sit at our table with us because I knew her. And Julie had a friend named Sherry. She wanted to sit with us. And then Lee, who joined us all by herself and was a perfect fit. And we really enjoyed ourselves. So anyway, I was talking about restaurants. A couple of the ladies had gone to Keepsakes, and some of us didn't want to go. And so just Lee and I went over to have lunch at Bob Evans, back to the food thing. I just bought a bowl of soup at Bob Evans to bring back and put in my refrigerator to have for supper Saturday night. I was feeling a little bit like I was always out of my seat and not stitching, and I really didn't want a heavy meal the night before I'm going to get on airplanes and fly home and all that. So that worked well. Nicole was I think this is correct, born in the same city I was. She lived and grew up in the same city I was born in. And my memory of living in Ohio doesn't involve that city, but another nearby city, and where I always went back to visit my grandparents and where my parents retired to. Aunts and uncles and cousins and all kinds of people still in the area. So that was fun to get to see, visit, and have a fun time with Nicole. There's just something about people from the same place as you. Yeah. So what else can I say? Ask questions. Ask me questions. I'll answer them in the comments. And I'll tell you the truth. If there's something you're thinking of that I'm not saying, just ask me. I'll tell you. So I have spread out around me all kinds of things. All kinds of things. So we'll just start right out with my whip. This was the whip that I showed 2 videos ago was going to be one of my StitchCon whips. And when I opened up the fabric, I didn't even have a stitch in it. I thought I had started it. So before I went, I put in all the boxes around all 3 things. I also did the green that makes the grass and the hillside, so there'll be a picture right here of what this looked like when I started. And here it is after 2+ solid days of stitching. It's almost laughable. I did do all the letters, so that box is full. The first night there, oh, one of the things I had done at home before I left is I had done the top half of this leaf. And then apparently I put in my needle the darker green that's the veins in the leaf. When I got to StitchCon Thursday night, I finished the leaf, only I stitched the whole leaf in the dark color that was the veins. So Thursday night, I took it all out. So Friday morning, I started off exactly where I started stitching at StitchCon. So I did that. And then I managed up here. I screwed up the house. Up here, it's indented when it becomes a full solid row all the way across. I did not indent the first time I did it, and I started doing the space between the windows, and I couldn't figure out why that wasn't coming out, so I had to take that all back out and shorten this because the window, or the roof hangs over each side by one stitch. So, see that? 2 solid days. If you had 2 solid days plus an evening in your house to stitch, you'd probably knock this baby out. But not me at StitchCon. But it's okay. I never touched the other whips. Never. I thought I would do a whip a day, like not finish a whip a day, but I'd work on this one on Friday and the other one on Saturday. Didn't happen that way. So that's it. That's it. It's what I stitched for 2+ days. I shopped a little bit, not a huge, no, I didn't go crazy. I got, let me just rifle through for a second. There were 10 trunk shows at the retreat, and that was very cool because it's kind of nice to, at your own leisure, see a trunk show. One of them was hands-on design, and I had yet to purchase any of these, so this is one of the new sets of the ornaments. Isn't that cute? The tiered tray. Love that. I think that's my favorite so far. Tree Farm. Cut and carry. We still cut down a fresh tree. Said to my girls who love that activity, one of these days we're going to be too old to do this. And then this, which is really cute. And I bought the little finishing kit. You know, I may or may not use, we'll see. I think there's more coming out, right? Does anybody know? I think so. So I got those, the hands-on design trunk show. And then there was a trunk show by a designer I'd never heard of, Meridian Designs. And she has this series called the Teeny Weeny Bikinis, and they were cute. I just bought this one, which was German. We went to Germany a few years ago, and I thought this would make a really cute ornament. It doesn't necessarily look like a bikini, and that pretzel is a charm. They have pretzels and flavors like sprinkled and whatever, and things you've never even imagined. So big pretzels are truly a German thing. So, back to the hands-on design. At Keepsakes, I got some Weeks Mocha 32 count to stitch these on. Excuse me. Apparently, you know, there's that quest, if you don't really want it to be quite so yellow, to find a color that's sort of burlappy. I picked the Mocha. Nicole Buckeye Stitcher was doing Brown Bear, and hers was pretty, but I had Brown Bear sitting right next to Mocha when I was at the shop, and I thought, ooh, I think I like the Mocha. Sorry, I have to cough. Haven't totally shaken the cold. I also bought some Picture This Plus 28 count Queen Anne's lace at the shop. So if you look at my Queen Anne's lace, which I love a fabric with hints of greens and blues and grays. And there was another piece of Queen Anne's lace that really was a gray. It really was like a mottled gray. So I don't know what to say about the assurance of buying Queen Anne's lace. Ooh, when I get in the right light, it looks gray, but it is green. So, looking forward to finding something to do on that. I also bought just some random, there was like, there of some Weeks Aztec Red. There was a funny little end, jaggedy on the fabric, and I said, just cut that thing off for me. And it was actually 2 pieces. There's a pin in here, so my plan is for ornaments. This kind of red would be fabulous for ornaments. And then my other piece of fabric was another piece of this Joblin Summer Sky, which I talked about it in a prior video, how I found some at Stitchville and I stitched something on it, and God help me, I do not know what it is. I have been racking my brain for 2 days. And I just saved one little bit, and I have the name written on my bulletin board down there, so I can see if I can find some more, because the label on mine didn't even tell me who made it. It's Witchell. Sorry about that. Is this take 4? I'm going to pick up where I left off, and I'm going to join these 2 together. I silenced my phone. But today is a primary election here in New York, and this is the second time. This is why one of my takes before didn't, I quit, I wasn't very far in and the phone rang. So I should have left the phone far, far away. Anyway, summer sky. Love this color. Not going to have any problem finding something to stitch on it. So those are the fabrics I bought. Generally, fabric is my favorite thing to buy when I go to a shop because I can touch it. I picked up a couple threads, just a couple of them that I need for quilts. I need 4, and they only had 2 in the shop. So those I need to inventory and figure out what the other 2 are. They're written up on my phone. They're written on there. Also in the shop, she had a few. We bought the end of these. So these little, I don't know, little molds that will make really cute pin keeps, and old lids for jars that will make cute pin keeps. So I picked up a couple of those. One of the trunk shows was Lottie Da, and I picked up this pattern. She had several I would have liked, but I just bought one. Sue Hillis was a trunk show. Big fan of Sue Hillis. Love her, just so traditional Christmas colors. I just love that. I love the traditional. I obviously love all the overdyes and softer, more vintagey colors of patterns. But when it comes to Christmas and patriotic, that's the other thing. I like this very traditional, because at the shop, this one was stitched and on display. And even though you look at those colors and you think those are really traditional and pretty, when it was stitched, it was just beautiful. So I had to pick that one up. And then at the shop, I got a couple Brenda Gervais. I can't believe I hadn't bought this. I kept putting it back, picking it up and thinking, I think I bought that. But I came home and before I left, I went through my Brenda Gervais and I looked at everything, and I thought I had committed to memory everything I had. I don't know. And I didn't have this. I knew I didn't have this. I had looked for this once upon a time, so was happy to be able to pick that up. And possibly that's the end of anything I bought. Oh, I bought a Color and Cotton a Belfast Opal. You never know. I like to do like so many nautical kind of things, watery kind of things. So, and I'm liking the Color and Cotton. I neglected to mention that this one is stitched on, I get the monthly 32 count Joblin from Color and Cotton. And this one is on a piece of lemon cake. So that's going to be so pretty once I start putting some red in there. So anyway, those are the purchases. I have a few things off the freebie table and a couple things. We did the Smalls exchange, and excuse me while I reach out of frame. And I got the one from Trisha 3L Threads, which isn't it cute? She tea-dyed the elements and probably the fabric here too. Isn't that cute? I have a small quilt I made that uses this fabric. It must be downstairs. If I can take a picture of it, I'll put it here. That'll be cute with that nearby. But what really gave me a little thrill was I've always been if you can reuse something, a gift bag or, wrap something, whatever, use, reuse, repurpose. So Trisha said she had the small but didn't have any like wrapping material, and she thought maybe she wasn't going to give it, and she's like, no. Her friends convinced her, no, go get a shopping bag from Keepsake's little basket of bags out in the trunk show and put it in there. And then she put on her little note about who made it, #no frills. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Everything doesn't have to be frills. And then there was a little bag of giveaway thingies given to us, and the StitchCon logo was a freebie given to us, along with sampler threads, Buckeye Scarlet, the Buckeye Stitcher. This color. It's like they're named after each other. And there was a spool of Krynic, a little sample. Oh, I bought this at the Hands-On Design trunk show. They had the sample there, the little model. Whew, that was pretty. Sue Hillis, this was a freebie you got, and I just love it. Ta-da! I said I'm going to stitch it up a little tiny pillow, and every time I finish something and take a picture of it, it's going to have ta-da on it. Let's see if that happens. We have a little packet of some free patterns of Stone Street Stitch Works. There's actually more freebies. I don't want to show any patterns, but somebody made the effort to copy them all on beautiful cardstock for us. Be Free by Barbara Anna. Sue Hillis had a freebie. That one. May your spools always be full and your needles always sharp. No picture on one from the Cricket collection, and Sunflower Diary. So this is pretty. You are so loved, it says. Isn't that cute? Cute. And then the Sampler Bird Stitchery, Robin, who's got a Flosstube channel. It's really cute. It's a cute channel. I enjoy watching it. She designed this little freebie for a stitching group or a stitching guild. And then she offered it to anybody who wanted it on her Flosstube. It is the cutest little pillow, and you flip it over in the back, looks like an envelope. Isn't that cute? I was thrilled because I had yet to actually request that from her. So I just need to shuffle a few things back over. Sitting over here, not related to StitchCon, was a Stash Unload purchase. This is this is not available anymore, out of print. And my sister shared this pattern, the pattern with me, and I stitched this. I showed it in a very early video. It was true pleasure to stitch. And we had never been in the habit of making working copies, and that pattern's getting pretty tattered. She has it back again because she wants to do this one, which I wouldn't mind doing myself also. So when it was available for $10 or $12 or whatever it was on Stash Unload, I said, me please, for sure. There were two different types of, not freebie tables, but tables. Well, one was a freebie table, and the other one was Michelle Bendy Stitch brought some patterns that you could take and then leave a donation for her Alzheimer's walk. And I will admit that I don't remember which came from which. So I think I have 3 from the freebie table or something and 3 from hers. Old time kitchen things. These are pretty dated, but my kitchen up above the cabinets is just full of all the old time things. So I don't have any specific plans to stitch any of these right now, but you never know. that a little motif like that might go far. And Patchwork Village of Linda Meyer. She usually has quilts in there somewhere. Not sure I'd stitch the entire thing, but I like all the components. And of course I like the village done like this too. This for sure came off of Michelle's table. I watched Dina stitch this and it's so cute. I don't know where my plans lie exactly. I assume someday I'll be a grandmother and maybe have a little bit different interest in doing things with children in it. And I'm pretty sure this one came off Michelle's table too. I may have this, but I absolutely love these Plum Street samplers with the hare, mama hare, and the 3 children, because I have 3 children. So far I have stitched 1. I went down and looked through my patterns today to see, I pulled out a bunch of summer things. And I'm not sure, I thumbed through a few of my files based on subject, and I didn't come across any of these, so I'm not really sure where they are. Maybe I actually have a file for Plum Street samplers. This is my organizational skills. If I have a lot of a designer's pattern, that designer gets a folder. Otherwise, it's by subject. Somebody at my table had a stack of these. I found this on the freebie table, I believe. It's Charles Wysocki's book 2. I have book 1, so now I have book 2, and I actually came across book 3 that didn't have anything I wanted, so I didn't want to take things just for the sake of taking them. So that's my StitchCon things. I did a video of the brag table, which I will insert at the end. It'll come at the end. I wanted to show, I received some gifts, I gave some gifts. I did not talk to anybody and ask if it was okay to share. I got some needle minders, and one of the reasons why I don't want to name names or talk about what I gave people is because I really don't want to have hurt feelings like, wow, she did that, she gave that to somebody and didn't give one to me. It goes both ways. I may have got something that other people didn't get from a person, and I'm not here to do all that. I thank them in person, and the appreciation is there, but I am going to show this one gift, but I'm not going to name a name for the very, very, very same reason. She made strawberries that she gave to some floss tubers that there's a tag on it, which is what this thread is hanging down. As she explained it to us, she made them for the floss tubers that she really likes, and I don't know that it's that she doesn't like all the floss tubers or lots of floss tubes, but the point of this one was they are floss tubers that she works in a quilt store, and there's a lot of older ladies that she introduces to Flosstube, but she's cautious and careful about what Flosstube names she gives people to watch. If she thinks they might be a little rude or crude or offensive or anything like that, she doesn't, tell the ladies about their channel. And I really was honored to get this because while I can be rude and crude and catty in the right in the right environment, that is not my mission in making Flosstube. My objective is to share cross stitch. If I'm hanging out with a bunch of girls, maybe with, a picture of margaritas or whatever, no different than anybody else. But I make them and keep in mind that maybe my friends at church would watch it, or my children. My children all know I make a channel, so I'd like them to think that adults don't behave like they're 15 years old all the time. So anyway, this is just adorable and so cute. I just love that, the pins to be like the, to make it look like it's the flower, still a strawberry plant flower. So cute. So, okay, I'm looking through my piles. That's all of it. Ask me questions if you want to about what it was like, or how, what would, if you've had a similar experience at a retreat or are afraid of something at a retreat being a certain way or whatever. Just ask me. We can chat about it and see if maybe we can overcome some of those, I don't want to call them fears because they're not, anxieties, worries, concerns. I don't know. It's just a really nice way to be in the same room with people. I'm going to give you an example. This will be another one. It'll take me 6 days to upload. Lee, who I said I met and sat at our table, she and I went to lunch together. I don't know where everybody else was doing different things. So she and I, no, that's not what it was. We had been to dinner with a group. And after dinner, I said, I'll walk back to the hotel. And on the way, I was talking about how I felt like I hadn't had my daily walk that day. And at home, I've been working on, my husband and I are going on a trip in the fall, and it'll be a lot of walking and a lot of time on your feet and all that. So I've been working on duration, so walking for a long time. And I go out to take my walk, and I look at my watch when I leave, and I walk, and I think, okay, I'll get down to that farmhouse down the road, and then I'll see, I got a kitty cat, and then I'll see, that'll be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. No, and it's like 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Oh my gosh, how much longer do I have to do this? Here comes a cat. And so I'm working it up, and she said something about, they're still like surprised that I'm home. And so when they discover I'm here, they get all excited and want to come and see me. We talked about, I don't know, how hard it was, not physically to walk for an hour or whatever. I could go to the mall and walk for hours. It's not that I can't. And she said, but just think of all the stitching you could get done in that hour. And that's exactly it. That is exactly the problem. So it's very fun to get to spend time with people who get that, because I think if I said that to anybody in my general world, they would think I had lost my mind. Anyway, it was fun. Ask me questions. And if you feel like, we don't even have I think the private messaging on YouTube is gone, but we'll try to, say what it is we want to say with no offense to anybody, anywhere, ever. Anyway. Videos going in of the brag table, and then I panned around the room, and it is noisy. There's a lot of background noise, but I'll tell you, the talent in there, holy cow. It was something. So have a good rest of your Tuesday. Stitch all the things. I went because I was looking through my pattern box to see. Look, I don't know. I was trying to see if I duplicated a breaded gervais. So let's tell the truth. I pulled out like 6 things that were summer projects that I made a list of the threads. I don't know. What can I tell you? Watch the video here. Until next time, bye. StitchCon, we're going to show the brag table as best that we can. It is amazing what people have made. A sampler brought in by one of the participants that was stitched by her great-great-great-grandmother. And I think she said 43. Let me see. Oh, 1848. here. Oh, there's a lantern lane. I don't want to touch anybody's anything to move anything out of the way. Sorry. All right, close your eyes. Close your eyes because I'm moving you. I don't want to make anybody dizzy. All right, wait. You have to stop and look at this. All right, we're really making a move. Check this out. This is my favorite. I don't remember the name of the pattern, but you know, it's with a needle and thread, right? And she sent it off to Jill Rensler for matting and framing. Isn't that amazing? Let's go close. We'll go close. She painted and cut out bits of mat board to make those flowers and the details. So cute. So pretty. Here's a piece laying in front. Okay. Unbelievable. Oh my gosh, look at I haven't seen what's down in this section yet. That is fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, back up so we can see this one. Okay, open your eyes again. Here we go. I'll try to edit out the excessive moving. That's how much brag table stuff there is. How much talent there is in this room. Oh my goodness. Look at this one. Sorry, not that part, that floor. Look at this. Isn't that something? Some more, and more, and more. And look at this stand up. All right, we have to move up to the table height, so hang on. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Those are some letters. If you like letters, awesome. Letters overwhelm you. Overpowered. So many small things on my video. Things piled on top of things that I don't want to touch to move. We're going to kind of peek up over here. Yes. Oh my goodness. A basket full of goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And we're missing Jiminy Cricket back there. This pile, I can't even begin to touch it to show you everything that's in there. Amazing. And there's Pam Shaffer's mother's tree. Unbelievable. Okay, we're going to do a quick pan of the room so you can see what StitchCon looked like. Down in 2018. I'm doing what it was on here. Let's see. I'm going to focus my table. You see right in the middle, there's Julie McConnell, the reflections, and there's Marlene Bush, who's facing me. And Nicole is talking to her. I'm sitting between Marlene and Nicole, except Nicole's in my chair. Currently. I'm sitting with Marlene. Who else you see? There's Abby, the top knot stitcher, doing a little dance. I don't know. There should be a few more familiar faces. And they've just set up our smalls exchange table. Right there. The fun's about to begin. If you're debating and thinking about whether you'd like to come to StitchCon or not, this group of about 140 ladies is half of what they hope to have next year in a larger facility.